Welcome everyone to our psychology series.
Whee!
Okay,
No, you hindered my progress.
It works. We span.
Spun.
We have spunneth a tale which beginneth. A tale of two cities. It's already 3 seconds in and she's leaving. Okay. In this series, we're going to be looking at the IB psychology course, and in this video in particular, we're going to be looking through the psychology exams and what that entails for a standard level student or a higher level student. So there are 3 exams for the psychology IB syllabus. So obviously we're going to start with paper 1 because that makes sense, or we could start with paper 3, but that's really weird. So for paper 1, it's 2 hours long, and it's the same exact exam for both standard level and high level, and this is important because some of the exams are actually different for standard level and high level. So for paper 1, there are 3 short answer questions, and you don't get a choice, you have to answer all of them.
You don't really plan for the short answer questions, actually.
Like 5-minute plan.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you don't really have to, I say you don't have to plan for the short answer questions because all you need to do is, like if it said, explain localization of brain functions, all you need to do is define localization and then go on to explain one study.
Yeah, but depending on the question, I think. It depends. I think if you wanted to plan for the short answer questions, the maximum amount of time that you should spend planning would be 5 minutes for each one. Like, not even maximum.
Like, jot down 3 bullet points and go.
Yeah, that's what I do, but for some reason teachers are like big on planning, and I think it does help for some people, like if you're not as confident in your like thinking on the spot, because I'm pretty good at thinking on the spot, but like that's just me. And it's not anything like detrimental if you have to plan, and if you think you need to plan, then like do plan, because it will be better for you to plan.
Yeah. For the long answer question though, definitely spend
a while
planning. Not like a while, more like, I would say no more than 10 minutes, but the recommended is actually 15 minutes.
But I think sometimes 15 minutes planning, you can get too much in-depth in your planning, and then there's no point in putting so much detail into your plan when your plan isn't even graded. Like for me, when my planning's usually even shorter than 10 minutes, because what I do is I write down like introduction, and then put like 2 or 3 bullet points of what I want to put in the introduction, and then like P1, P2, P3 for like the paragraphs, and then put like bullet points of what I want to put in. Like I won't even put, like if I can remember the study that I want to use, I won't even describe what the study is in my plan. I'll just put like the name of the psychologist or the name of the study and then just continue.
Yeah. Or what I do is I'll write down a couple bullet points for the overall essay, and then my introduction is my plan.
True. If you write a solid introduction, you should be fine. I think the main thing is like you get given 5 minutes reading time for pretty much all exams in the IB, no matter what, apart from the like some multiple choice papers, but that doesn't really come into psychology. So I would say like the most important thing is when you're doing that reading time, you really need to use it to choose which long answer question you want to write, because once you've chosen, it's really no point changing. You just lost too much time.
Yeah. What we've done for our long answer question, I don't know how other teachers plan this, but our teachers recommended that we study the socio-cultural learning, SCLA. That one, for the long answer questions, because there's more to talk about, and then study some cognitive for long answer questions, and then just do cognitive levels and biological levels of analysis and short answer questions only.
Yeah, because I think it's like, because there's so much to revise, it's like smart revision.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know for anyone else, but for me personally, for some reason I always get better marks on the social cultural levels of analysis essays, because I think they're somewhat easier concepts to grasp, whereas cognitive and biological gets a bit more sciencey, which is a bit more difficult for everyone to grasp.
Yeah.
Especially considering it's not really a science. I mean, some universities will count psychology as your science, but the way that the way that the IB teaches it, it's much more of like a humanities-based subject.
Yeah, and like there are a couple cognitive ones that I would study for long answer question, but not all of them. Like the brain image technology stuff and biological, study that short answer.
I might study schemas as long answers because I understand the schema theory.
Well, yeah, do the and stereotypes as well. I definitely study bystanderism as long answer question, but that's because it's the only essay that I actually did pretty good on.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to what you're best at, and I think you should, like, whether or not it's SCLA, you should choose a, like, block of the syllabus to study for your long answer questions as the ones that you're going to do those for the long answer questions, and then choose another one that you're like second
as a
most
backup.
comfortable as a backup and do some long answer questions for that, but in the whole, and then the one that you're least comfortable with, only study it for short answer questions, because if you're not really going to produce a good long answer question from that, then why would you study it as a long answer question anyways? So for standard level, paper 2 is 1 hour long, and you have one option. Each option has 3 choices, and so for my psychology class, the teacher taught us social cultural levels of analysis, she taught us cognitive levels of analysis, and she taught us biological levels of analysis. And then for the standard level students, our extra one was abnormal psychology. So for me in this exam, I would choose the abnormal psychology topic, and then I would do one of the 3 choices and then write one long answer question, and that's it.
There are different options.
Yeah,
for
there's
the paper.
actually, there are 5 options in total. So there's abnormal psychology, there's developmental psychology, health psychology, psychology of relationships, and sports psychology.
Oh, okay.
And I think if you're in standard level, you get taught one of these, and if you're in high level, you get taught two. The one that standard level gets taught and the one that you did.
Yeah.
So for us, I was standard level, we just did abnormal psychology, and you guys did relationships.
We did human relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically though, for the extra topic, what you're doing is you're taking everything you learned in that syllabus and combining it into one. For like what we did for human relationships, we sectioned it off into 3 separate sections: interpersonal relationships, social relationships, and violence. And if I were to write an essay on something from that, I would take studies from all through those topics. So it's kind of like you're intermingling all the different points of the syllabus that you've learned, which is like slightly more difficult to do.
That's probably why Miss Hickmott chose it though, because it's not really that much more new learning. I think though that it could be different depending on which school you come from, but basically if you're in standard level, it's the extra topic that you studied, and you just do one long answer question and you leave. And then if you're in higher level, you do the one that you did for standard level and the extra topic that you studied in higher level.
So you get 2 hours.
It's 2 hours and just 2 long answer questions as a higher level student.
Yeah. For studying for the exams, I would ask your teacher if they can provide you with a list of past questions that were on the exam. So for like, and then make notes off of those so that you've kind of revised it all as a whole. Because if you only focus on one section, then you're not going to be as well prepared for the exam. So for like what I did, there was a question that she gave us that was like, look at cognitive factors in relationships. So I took cognitive levels of analysis from one of our first packets, and then took different studies from our last packet.
I guess though, if you're studying like sports psychology, you might not be able to do that.
Yeah, it really does. It depends on which topics that you're taught.
It does, but in general, it's kind of just another long answer question, but you have to make sure that you choose the right topic. So for example, if I tried to write an essay on, I don't know, like health psychology, I'm gonna fail because that's not what we were taught. Obviously, you need to just know which one you were taught. I feel like you should know which one you were taught, but
I would hope
make sure that you know. Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is us like flipping it back on you for your responsibility. Know which extra topics you're doing. This
You need
paper
to
2
know.
is an entirely new paper. It's not like paper 1 where you can sort of kind of like BS your way through. Nah.
You can't. It's not possible.
Sorry.
Yeah, and then there is also paper 3, which as a standard level student, I am completely exempt from, so Keely's going to talk about this one, and I've had a glance at it, and it looks a hella weird, so take the floor.
It's very weird. It's kind of like taking every evaluation point that you've learned throughout your entire psychology syllabus and smashing it all into one, except making it slightly more technical.
That sounds disgusting.
It is disgusting, especially since that's what I'm worse at. Worst. So basically, it's looking at quantitative and qualitative research methods. You will get, the exam is 1 hour long. You get they call it a stimulus that they give you. It's really just a brief overview of one study relating it to an idea or a theory that was invented. And they're going to ask you 3 questions about this stimulus For example, they'll look at how was inductive content analysis used in this study.
Do you have to answer all three?
Yeah, you have to answer all three.
So they're like short answer questions.
I would say that each question probably takes, because the entire paper is worth 30 marks. I would say spend 20 minutes on each question, and before that does include planning. Jot down a couple of the bullet points. And each question will probably take about one side of paper, a little less than one side.
The same as a normal short answer question.
Yeah. But what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to, at the beginning, define, like, inductive content analysis, and then go on to discuss how it's used in the stimulus. And you need to directly quote the stimulus that you're given. If you don't, then you lose marks. So, for example, you'd say, like, inductive content analysis is this. And then after you give your definition, say, this can be demonstrated on line 7 or whatever. Usually the stimulus is only 35 to 40 lines long, so it's kind of like an English extract that you would get. There's not much else I can say about paper 3 other than it takes the 3 points that you study are interviews, observation, and case studies. I've been told that paper 3 is really easy to get marks on because it's not like you are kind of analyzing it, but you're analyzing something that's given to you.
You're given to it. You don't have to memorize
anything. It's easy marks as long as you study.
As long as you know how to analyze as well.
Yeah.
Evaluate even. As long as you know how to evaluate, you should probably be fine. That's really all we have for this video, as this video was just talking about the exams and kind of just helping you through understanding what the exams are going to be like. If you want more in-depth information about the different papers in the future, you can just comment that below and we'll get to that if you ask for it.
Do our best.
But as we said, this video is marking the start of a psychology series, so good luck everyone!
Yay. Louise is going to be looking at cognitive levels of analysis. I'm going to be doing biological.
And then when that's finished, I'm going to be looking at abnormal because that's the extra topic that I did.
I'll be doing human relationships.
And then we'll kind of both be sharing social cultural.
Yeah.
So
we hope you do group videos for that.
Yeah, we can do group. Aww. So that's all for this video. See you next time. Bye.
Peace, guys. Boom.
Is it filming now?
Yeah, it's filming because you can see now. We've got a little red dot. We figured out how to use the reverse monitor camera thing.
We finally have
figured it out.
Monitor to look at what's going on, and we don't have to just guess whether or not we're actually in the screen.
Technically, we had it all along, but like we have a tripod now because I got a gift card and I was like, what should I spend it on?
We're becoming professional YouTubers.
I need to make sure now that I'm actually looking at the camera.
No, same. I keep looking at that and I'm like, no, Louise, look at the camera, look at the camera.
Maybe we should flip it back around now.
Now that we know we're in the...
Yeah, now that we know we're in the shot.
We should take higher level because honestly, it's just not that much work.
I don't know, the paper 3
Said no one ever.
The paper 3 looks hella weird. Hella weird.
Don't touch me, heathen. Anything you can do, I can do better.
I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Oh no, he's in trouble.
Oh no.
Oh, he's
Oh,
in trouble.
I'll just cut this thing in my hands. Ow, ow, ow.
Okay.
Ow, ow, ow.
You can put it down on this thing.
I think I will. Ow, ow, ow.
Oh,
ow,
hello, camera. Hello, camera. Should we check that it's still recording? Because I mean, we left it for a solid minute.
It's still going.
Oh, it's got a great view of your arm. It was like filming down your arm.
It's just the sexiest arm ever. Why did I say that?
It's been a while, shall we say. The avatar bends fire, earth, water, and air. Air.
You're just an airbender because you're such an airhead. I'll take my leave. I'll take my leave. No, don't turn into a Kashi.
Or Grell.
We do not talk of the...
Do I have another pair of scissors?
Oh, God, no. Please, no, not again. I couldn't calm down. No, don't. No, 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 no. We're not... No, put the scissors down. She's recently gotten into Black Butler. I regret ever recommending it. Put the scissors losers down.
The reason why I started watching it was because the Japanese voice actor for Sebastian is the same as Midorima from KNB.
And then I convinced her to switch to dub because Sebastian just has one hell of a voice. I'll go dig my grave now.
You know, in World War II Germany, they used to round up people, make them dig their own graves, and then shoot them so that they would fall into the graves they had just dug. And I am seriously considering bringing back that practice for a certain someone to my right.
We're not in Germany.
No. But considering that I'm from England, I probably have some German heritage in there somewhere.
My last name is German, actually.
So there you go. Representation.
Well, then wouldn't I be the one forcing you to dig your grave?
Okay, witch, shut up. Miss Salem witch trial, you like you to take a very neutral political stance because we're not supposed to be getting into these issues. But now that our cast has ended, we don't have to be politically correct anymore. Yay!
Well,
Insert that like celebration sound in the background there. Yay! Da 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 da!
In the end of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
I have to sneeze. I don't know what that was. It was like I was coughing up a hairball.
Come, darkness,
My old friend, I've come to talk with you again because a vision softly creeping. This isn't a singing channel, Louise.
God.
Neither of us are good at singing. We should probably go now. Like, just start.
Yeah,
This is gonna become a pain to edit out.
It's gonna be hilarious to edit out. What
We
are
do
you
this.
talking
We
about?
do this to ourselves. So
You almost hit my chin.
I can really hit your chin if you want.
Oh! Oh, she fighting! Wow, I feel so attacked.
No!
You're about to witness him.
Ow! No, 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 no. Put the camera back. I spent a long time trying to set that right, and now I need to check to make sure it's in the right place again.
No, it's looking at me.
Ugh. Disgusting human being.
Says the one who booped me on the nose without consent. Are we done now?